Today's question is, when's the better time to file for divorce? When the husband, or wife in this case, has a full-time job, or when the husband or wife is unemployed or not fully employed? This is a good question, and in my opinion, given that generally husbands still earn substantially more than wives, the best time for a man to divorce, if he must, is, unless he's incredibly altruistic toward his wife and soon-to-be ex-wife, when he's jobless and or poor. But this principle applies just as well to a wage-earning wife too. Why? Well, if ever there may be a silver lining to being jobless and or poor, it could be when getting divorced. Another divorce attorney told me many times, good behavior in a marriage is bad behavior in a divorce and vice versa. Truer words were never spoken. And you've heard the phrase, no good deed goes unpunished. In many situations, that's all too true. Earning a good living is an example of these principles. In a successful, happy marriage, earning a good living helps keep things running like a well-oiled machine. It promotes optimism and good mental and physical health. It reduces stress and worry. It promotes domestic harmony. It wins the admiration and affection of family members. In a dysfunctional, miserable marriage, by contrast, earning a good living usually, not always, but usually means when the divorce dust settles that the guy or gal who earns more pays more to the ex-spouse. Pays more of what? Marital debt, child support, alimony, or all three. In divorce, earning a good living goes from being a blessing to a curse quite often. It can feel essentially like involuntary servitude because you are ordered to pay whether you want to pay or not, whether you feel it's fair. And it's not unusual for courts to order the paying spouse to pay more than he or she practicably can. This breeds consistent resentment, depression, discouragement, stress, and worry, even despair. But is there gratitude for the payor? Generally, forget about it. Child support and alimony are far too often treated as rights and entitlements. The poor spouse has less, if any, money to pay child support and alimony, and the poorer spouse of the two has a great argument for receiving money in the form of child support, alimony, and or debt payment. The poorer one is, the harder it is for the other spouse and the court to justify, let alone any or big child support and alimony awards. Now, for those of you contemplating divorce and you think this means, so I should impoverish myself before I divorce, shame on you. Many try to game the divorce process this way, and many get away with it, and it's easy to see what makes it so tempting. Both A, the spouse who earns a lot of money, and B, the other spouse who wants to get a lot of money, whether that be from child support, alimony, debt relief, or all three, try to fake job loss, fake demotion, crushing debts and obligations, a fake illness, injury, or disability, or other expenses. If you think this is a brilliant innovation, you'd be wrong. Divorce courts have seen this scheme tried time and time again for generations. They see it so often they expect both spouses to make these claims. They see it so often they sometimes conclude that one or both spouses is or are lying about income and expenses even when they are not. Can the courts be fooled? Sure, they get fooled a lot, but not always, not even usually, in my opinion. That stated, I know that there are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dishonest people who will file for divorce each year and who will try to con the court with the "I'm poor" play. Bottom line, being poor, truly poor, not fake poor, is in many ways a winning hand in divorce, if you can prove it in the course of your divorce action. Being poor often saves the spouse who would otherwise pay through the nose. Being poor often benefits the spouse who would receive child support, alimony, and debt relief.